o'clock on this Monday morning, August 11th. Thanks for joining us on ARC Rochester. I'm Abi Fridmann.
And I'm Stephannie Joseph. We've got a full 2 hours to get through, so let's just run down what we've got brewing for you.
All right, so coming up, it's never too early to teach your kids smart money habits. And this morning, we're looking ahead to National Financial Awareness Day. We're going to be learning some ways that parents can turn everyday moments into lessons on saving, spending, and budgeting.
Very important. And then college students are counting down the days until they head back to campus. And for this morning's Health in a Handbasket, Alyssa Strassman is going to be sharing some simple, budget-friendly tips on how students can maintain a well-balanced diet all semester long.
Yeah, I mean, I know my students probably aren't counting down the days till they're back on campus, but maybe some students are. And then later, a ride with a purpose. A closer look at the 9th annual Lee Lucas Memorial Poker Run and its mission towards raising awareness and the funds in the fight against opioid addiction. The founder of that run will join us in studio with more on how we all can get involved.
But before all of that, we'll get a check of the forecast because we're seeing a stretch of some hot. Emphasis on the hot.
Yeah.
90-degree temperatures.
Seriously. Marty is here giving us a look at the humid conditions out there for the day today. And Marty, great day to stay hydrated, right?
Very true. Always good this time of year. Yeah, make sure you hydrate early and stay that way throughout the day. Keep it up. Today we're starting off with numbers really comfortable. We're mainly in the 60s and 70s. And now that the sun has been above the horizon for a little bit, we're starting to see more areas in the 70s than 60s. And we'll see these numbers continue to build pretty well as we head forward throughout the day. Back to about 88 at noon. We're going to range somewhere in the very lower 90s during the afternoon. May see just a little bit of a lake breeze set up for a few lakeshore communities heading deeper into the day. Not a big drop in temperatures, but may lose a few degrees for areas mainly north of 104. About 94, 93 for the next couple days. And notice our numbers pull back a little bit as we head towards the end of the week. Maybe our highest risk of rain comes on Wednesday, and then back into the low to mid 80s to finish the week. But then those numbers start to rise up again heading into the weekend, maybe a little closer to the upper 80s and maybe near 90 again by the upcoming weekend. So numbers move around a little bit, but definitely we keep that summer-like feel around for a lot of these upcoming days.
It is so important to have a friend with a pool this time of year, right?
So true.
Find
yes.
All right, Marty, thank you.
Okay.
All right, let's go off the top. Start with some things that have piqued our interest this morning. I always write these at like 3:30 right when I get in. So I'm like, what did I write? It's always a surprise. Okay, so this is a trend. It's happening in China. And one that I think a lot of people are going to feel very strongly about. So I'm interested to know your thoughts. So listen carefully and let it marinate.
Okay.
So this trend is unemployed adults paying companies so they can pretend to work for them. It's kind of strange, but people who live in China say it's actually really beneficial. So here's how it works. A little background to start things off. China has a very sluggish economy and jobs market right now. The unemployment rate is reportedly very high, and there's a big gap between the skills adults have and the skills needed to thrive at companies that are very popular there. The urban jobless rate is below the target range, and the youth unemployment rate is apparently a very big concern. So, while these adults are unemployed, they say they would rather go into an office and search for a job instead of stuck at home lounging about with their feet up on the couch. While they might still be looking for jobs, this makes them feel a little more useful. This story, courtesy of the BBC, featured a man named Shi Zhao who had a food business that ended up failing last year, 2024. Now he's paying roughly $4 American per day to go into this fake office run by a business appropriately named Pretend to Work Company. There are a handful of other people who also, quote unquote, work at this company. And together they take advantage of the free computers and the Wi-Fi, and together they search for jobs. They work on developing new skills to advance their careers, and they say they try to launch their own startup businesses. Other brands of these fake businesses are popping up in major cities across China. Experts on the Chinese economy say it is considered a transitional solution to bridge the gap between graduating and getting a job, or maybe losing your job and finding a new one. Okay. Employees or attendees of this business arrive and leave at their own leisure. Some also say it shines a light on all of the frustrations that surround the employment issues in China. They say it makes people feel completely powerless, and this is a workaround, allowing people to maintain their respectability while they also get a little extra time to figure out the next steps. So, I thought this was really interesting. And one thing that I was reading about, and I didn't make note of while I was writing this, but one thing I did read is the pressure for young people in China is significantly larger than here in the United States. Parental pressure, pressure from those who are older than you.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense in a way. I'm not saying that I like it. I'm not saying that I support it, because it seems a little silly. But, you know, send a picture of your new desk at work and you're like, look, Mom,
I'm working.
I'm back at work.
I appreciate the context of this, because on its face you would think, why would anyone do this? But when you're talking about that transition, it can be really tough for a lot of people. You're in this unknown and it's very uncomfortable and you're trying to figure things out. This is kind of giving a co-working space vibe with a different name. The branding needs some work.
The branding does need work, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, I guess I would also ask, like, why not a library?
Right.
Right? Or like a coffee shop, right? But I mean, hey, props to them for getting out there and looking. You know, there are so many that would probably just say, yeah,
well,
I'll just relax until I can find something new.
Yeah.
But you know, one of the skills that they were talking about developing is utilizing AI. So a lot of them together as a team are working on going through like coursework together so that they become proficient in AI, because apparently that is a major skill over in China. People who have AI proficiency are hired in a quicker way than those who don't have it.
That would make sense. It is growing pretty fast.
It is.
But this is something else.
Overall, Steph, thumbs up, thumbs down. No in between.
Oh gosh, I was just about to ask.
No.
I'm gonna say, thumbs up for this, but cautionary thumb, because this is kind of like buying coffee every day. The $4 American is gonna add up over time.
Yeah.
So I would say give yourself a deadline.
Yeah.
To get to the point that you want to get to. Just know that this is temporary. Don't get too comfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a cautionary thumb.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, hey, if it's a thumbs down for me. I appreciate the effort, I really do, but I feel like there are other options. There's got to be a happy medium between like going to a fake job and working for this business with like a fake name and not doing anything like sitting at home. But that's just my take. To each their own, indeed. All right, all of you, Steph, take it away.
All right, so my topic, a theft in California is making headlines. Thousands of dollars, yes, I said thousands, worth of Labubus were stolen from a shop in La Puente. Now, for those unfamiliar, Labubus are, we had a sigh over there from Mark. All right, Labubus are a plush fashion accessory resembling toothy monsters. You've probably seen them. They're often on purses or bags. What? There they are.
What? Ew.
Yeah. They've become a cute, hot commodity. Now, the dolls, they've become a treasured collector's item for many. And last week, several Labubus worth at least $7,000 were taken from One Stop Sales. That's a store. It happened in the early morning hours of Wednesday, just before 1:30 a.m. Now, the store has shared surveillance video of the incident on social media. It's been circulating. You can see a couple people, as we're about to show you here in that surveillance, wearing hoodies and face coverings. According to an Instagram post with that footage, One Stop Sales says 4 young men took their inventory. In an interview with CBS Los Angeles, the shop's owner says they took authentic Labubu keychains and even larger dolls worth $30,000. Now, to put the theft into scale for everyone, Labubus cost anywhere from $50 to as much as several hundred. And on top of that, One Stop Sales says the thieves broke a window, you just heard that there, the crash, and trashed the place. Now, no details have been released by authorities about the suspects or anything related to what their appearance may look like. Now, this story also brings attention to a warning from the Better Business Bureau. Labubus, they've become so popular that people are also selling counterfeit dolls. They're known as Lafufus, and they're much cheaper. I saw somewhere that it was about a third of the cost, so much cheaper. The owner of One Stop Sales says the thieves actually stole a few of those Lafufus, And while their intentions or a motive for stealing the dolls remains unclear at this point, the Better Business Bureau is sounding the alarm for consumers. Now, in a recent alert, the BBB found at least 71 reports, and they said and counting. So I'm sure there's more happening out there of people who have been scammed with Lafufus. Some people reported buying them online. So the BBB is warning people to do their research on a website or even shop from a reputable retailer. A lack of customer reviews could be a cause for concern, so one thing there. They also recommend further scrutiny on deals considered too good to be true. Alongside this tip, the organization says a clear red flag is if the product is highly discounted. Now back to the theft. The shop shared another post thanking the sheriff's department for helping them recover some merchandise. The investigation still ongoing.
This is wild. Okay, so I'm not understanding why, first of all, why they're so popular, why they're so expensive, and it's a fashion accessory? Like you wear it on your shoe or something?
I know a meteorologist here who shared one that she bought, and it was very nice, plush. I think celebrities sort of, catapulted it into this major stardom. You see Pop Mart, that's the main retailer when it comes to these Labubus. It was created by an artist from Hong Kong, but they're just cute accessories that have become a fad. I think it might be too early to say fad. I'll say trend right now, but yeah.
This is wild too, and I can't imagine. I don't know. It's wild to me. We've seen that a lot though, where people will break into stores and grab something that's trendy and then try to resell it online.
Yep.
These the fake ones. Why is it that they are not considered like a dupe?
I think for some of them, you can clearly see that there's a difference.
Okay.
It really depends on how close the counterfeit is to the real thing, but I've seen some that are very far off that you couldn't miss that wasn't a Labubu by looking at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a crazy story. I wonder how many times we have to go back and count. I wonder how many times you said Labubu in the past 3 minutes. It's got to be like at least more than 15.
I think so.
All right. Hey, we have much more to get to this morning on Arc Rochester. When we come back, we're going to check in with Chris Lopez. He is sipping on a special cup of Joe this Monday morning.
Yeah, and don't forget that you can watch us on the go wherever you are by streaming us live on the 13 WHAM YouTube channel and, of course, foxrochester.com. We're back after this. mean? And what would we do without coffee?
We'd be a lot meaner. Yeah, for sure.
Well, thankfully, we won't ever have to know because Rochester has plenty of great local coffee shops for you to choose from.
This morning, Chris Lopez is checking out one that really does it all. He's live at Union Place Coffee Roasters, grabbing a cup of something delicious. Chris, are those beans behind you? That's a lot of beans.
Yeah, this is the beans that they get from the different countries. Here you have 69 kg, which translates to 152 pounds. And then you have bags that also weigh 132 pounds as well. It just depends on where you're importing them from. I'm here with Nick, head roaster here. You just got some of the beans out. We missed what would be one of the coolest shots of the morning. But what are you roasting?
So right here we have our breakfast blend. This is one that people find to be the most crowd pleasing, a real nice mellow blend. In this one, we have our Brazilian bean, our Colombian bean, as well as our Guatemalan bean.
It's so beautiful to see the beans roasted bright and early in the morning. Still advocating for that smell-o-vision. Maybe 13 Wham can do something about that. I know it's not even invented. I'm just kidding. But from roasting the beans to making the coffee, like I said earlier, someone is responsible for that cup of coffee that you're making in the morning. Here, it happens to be Burger. He's front of the house. I mean, you're taking all the orders, you're greeting all the people, and what we're doing right now is pulling the espresso. So, there's a science to this because you can mess this up, and you can mess up a good espresso shot really easy. But tell me, before you pull this, what you just did there and why you did that.
So 17.2 grams of our 3-bean espresso blend. Pulled it into the portafilter. We flatten it out, tamp it down to about 25 pounds, plug it into here, pull it. We're looking for about 30 seconds or so to get about 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces of espresso. And that's that kind of perfect time zone in there.
And it gives some context to that because we were talking if it's under extracted or over extracted. So meaning if you pull this shot in 20 seconds, what's it going to taste like?
Oh, it's going to be sour. You're not going to want to have it. So 30.9 seconds, that's right on the money. So it's going to have a little bit of bitterness.
Hold on, can we show this? Absolutely. So this is what you're looking for right here. That top layer is that crema, and that's what you're looking for. And believe it or not, that's what has a ton of the bitterness in it. If you don't ever want to taste that, just simply scrape it off with a spoon and you'll get a smoother shot of espresso. But that is what you're looking at. What happens if you over extracted that?
If you over extract, you're going to end up having some sourness through it. If you're under extracting, you got bitterness. So it's a whole thing.
And we're moving to the pour over, which is my favorite way to make coffee. This a little easier than making espresso, but tell me what you're doing right now and how you make each cup really good.
So this is 21 grams of our Costa Rican. We use a 21-to-1 ratio of coffee to water. So 21 grams in here, coarse ground. I'm going to pour some in here. We're going to go to 42 grams.
And when you're doing this, someone's going to ask, well, why did you only pour 45 grams or 40 grams as opposed to just pour the whole thing, man?
Well, so what happens is you're going to soak the grounds in there. It's going to bloom up. If you can look in here, you can see that it's kind of puffing up a little bit. So that's some degassing that's going on.
Yeah, he's releasing what, the nitrogen in it?
Yep, CO2. So then we're just going to pour some more over. This takes about 3 minutes of pouring. You put some in. You let go a little bit. We're going to agitate it a bit. We want all of those grounds equally coated so that you get a nice even extraction from it. And we're going to do this until we get to 441 grams of water total. And you just pour a little bit at a time. You're allowing the water to pass through, get all the way down to the bottom. Pour some in. You're going to let it go down. And then you're just going to keep reapplying the water. That way you get a nice even extraction of the coffee.
And there's competitions on how to pour a V60, a good cup of coffee. That's how much precision you need to pour someone a good cup of coffee like this and kind of take it out of the hands of the machine and really leave it up to the human element to pour this. How long did it take you to get good at this or relatively effective?
Still getting good at this. Still getting good at it. But, there's always room for improvement. And, different beans are going to have different flavor profiles, different water temperatures. So I'm doing this is the Costa Rican at about 199. So it's going to have a good flavor extraction, and
And that's another thing I want to mention too, is the temperature for how hot that water is. If it's too hot, you're going to extract too much flavor and you may get bitterness. You may get some of that ash or charcoal that you taste. If it's too low, you don't extract enough flavor, and then you just essentially have brown water, and nobody wants that bright and early in the morning. And coming up next, we're going to be cupping different kinds of coffee to show you how many different coffees, well, maybe just a little bit of how many different coffees they have here at Union Place Coffee Roaster. Stay tuned for that here on ARC Rochester.
Yeah, it's almost overwhelming when you go into places like that, when you look at the menu and it's just, one after another after another. Thankfully, it seems like there are experts there that can kind of guide everybody in the right direction. Chris.
That is good news.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, don't go anywhere. When ARC Rochester returns, it's this morning's weather trivia.
Yeah, Mark McLean will join us coming up after this. Welcome back. Meteorologist Mark McLean is here giving us a look at the weather for the day, and then we also have weather trivia to do.
Yeah, hot stuff, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, what have you been doing to cool off?
Just kind of suffering, honestly.
Suffering through it?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have air conditioning, so we just hang out in the rooms that are cool, which is, pretty much just the living room.
You get, like, the window thing, fan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Neighbor's pool, whatever it takes, right? Garden hose.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty good stretch for you if you're a summer lover, that's for sure. Talking in weather today for weather trivia about fronts. So we haven't had a lot of rain lately, right? So different types of fronts, they're different colors, different shapes, all sorts of stuff goes into this. But this one is the purple one. It's got triangles. It has half circles. It might look like that thing on the side right there. Probably looks a little bit nicer on our formal weather maps. But what type of front is this? Is this an occluded front, a cold front, a warm front, or a stationary front?
I know this one.
You do?
I do. I feel good about it.
Your background in meteorology has served you well.
Well, I got nothing to say. It's a Monday. My brain is scrambled eggs. Steph, do you know?
I know what it's not, but every time I say that, I'm always wrong.
That's all right. That's all right.
I've narrowed it down.
We'll have the answer at 9 a.m. and we'll let everybody know what kind of front that is. Hey, do we have that video of the dust devil, or do we want to go with weather first before this? Because I want to, watch this.
Oh my goodness.
This video is crazy.
My friend's son was in this tournament yesterday in Penfield. Watch this. It's very dramatic.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
That is probably the best video of a dust devil I've ever seen.
That's wild.
And what really brings it out is the dirt,
Yeah.
because that circulation right there, counterclockwise, and watch how fast it fades when it hits the tree line. It's like it didn't even exist.
Wow.
So once
Oh, yeah, geez.
once it loses its source of what makes it visible, the dirt in this case, it's gone. And you know how many of these are out there that we never get to see because they don't suck up anything, right?
Yeah.
You see these in like a Wegmans parking lot, or say it grabs trash bags or leaves
Yeah.
or something. It spins around and it dissipates. But that was absolutely compelling.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Look, I'm glad everybody's okay.
Yeah.
I keep giggling at that video
Yeah.
because the umpire is just like, hold on, and
Yeah.
leaves. And the poor catcher
Yeah.
is just like, what's
He's-
going on? And he gets like swept up in it.
Stuck in the
Poor
middle of it.
kid.
And then if you watch the end of the video, all the kids in the outfield like start booking. I mean,
Yeah, they're running.
trying to get out of there. I mean, you can't blame them, really. I mean, that's kind of scary looking. Not harmful though. You know, it's that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Water spouts, yeah, they can get a little bit worse out in the water. But hey, it's been a dry summer. We had 11 inches of rain in May and June. July and August have, quote, underserved us, right? Less than 2 inches. And this August, just 0.12 of an inch of rain in Rochester. So it is drying out in western New York. We're abnormally dry right now, but if we don't get any rain, we think there's a chance here coming up on Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised at all if parts of western New York or central New York had some kind of formal declaration of at least a minor drought for certain parts. But we'll put that chance at about 45% for Wednesday, and that chance is going to come with this cold front that's coming in from the west of Rochester. So I don't think this is going to be an everywhere deal. And you can see how this kind of breaks up on its way in towards western New York. So, you know, if you get this, it's going to be like that rain that we had last Wednesday, where it's all or nothing. It's just a tremendous downpour, and then it moves on out. Now, the big change for us, the air quality. Back in that good range. Anything less than 50 for the AQI is A-OK for us. So that haze is gone, 71 degrees, southwest breeze, and it's a great day to be by the pool, right? We're going to hit the 90s again. Lots of sunshine. Make sure you got the sunscreen with you if you're working outside today. For any length of time, you're going to want to have that for sure. And lots of moonlight again later tonight, upper 60s. It's a mainly clear sky, south breeze, 3 to 8 miles per hour. And our extended forecast, I think we're going to do it again tomorrow, 93. Tropical. Again, that downpour potential is there on Wednesday. I just don't want to overstate it too much. 83 for Thursday, 84 for Friday. And, heading towards next weekend, could we be near 90 again by Sunday? Yeah. And the outlook, the long-range outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, and, we're taking a look down the road too, keeps it above normal. So this could be the true dog days of August, right?
Okay.
Yeah, not mad about it. Honestly, it's been great.
Yeah.
It's been nice to go outside and do things and, not have to worry about the rain or anything like
And
that.
dew points in the 50s right
Yeah.
now, so it's not quote sweltering out there. I mean, we're really not like sweating it out. I mean, it's hot for sure. I mean, if you're out working, you are sweating, but
Yeah.
it's not necessarily the atmosphere that's bringing it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And question, and maybe you remember this, maybe you don't. When you guys made your prediction early in late spring about what kind of summer it would
Yeah.
be, was this kind of on track? Were you kind of anticipating that it would be a hot summer?
I thought it would be pretty typical.
Yeah.
One thing that can really bring the heat up and bring the moisture up is the hurricane season. And we haven't had a lot of development, but when we do get development, especially closer to the coast, it can pump up what's called the Atlantic Ridge, and that's what delivers the heat to the northeast. We need a big, strong ridge of high pressure out over the ocean, and the more tropical activity that there is in that area. Last week we had Dexter go through, small storm, but nonetheless it's energy that goes around that ridge, and that helps to pump up the ridge and keep the heat in. So if we see another couple of systems out there, this could go on for a little while.
I just keep thinking about the viewer that called in, really, really angry at how much rain we had during, what was it, April, May?
May,
Oh, yeah.
May, June, and that first weekend of June was
Yep.
brutal.
Yeah.
It was in the 50s both days. And that's hard to do.
You guys delivered. You got rid of the rain.
We got rid of the rain. We got rid of too much of it. It is drying out there. It's the water cycle. When you're watering the plants and all the irrigation is getting tiring.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Mark, thank
Yeah.
you.
Hey, don't go anywhere. We've got much more to get to here on ARC Rochester.
We're back after this.
Monday morning. Thanks so much for staying with us here on ARC Rochester. We are continuing to talk about the weather because we're seeing an improvement in terms of the air quality.
Yeah, which is great news. Mark is back. Thanks for sticking around,
okay,
Mark, dealing with some technical issues. Just being fully transparent here.
Yeah.
But, those wildfires are still burning.
Yeah.
Curious to know why in just a couple of days things have cleared out so suddenly. We went from being in the unhealthy range for the air quality to all of a sudden being moderate to good on that.
Yeah, and it's not because these huge wildfires have gone out. I mean, there's no way we can't. A lot of folks don't live up there in the middle of Canada where these fires are, so the resources aren't there to deploy to put these fires out. At least from our side of things. So nature is going to run its course. These fires are going to burn themselves out. Eventually, the rain is going to take care of this. But the thing that changed for us is a change of air mass. So we had this dramatic shift where the air quality last week, it was hazy. I mean, it was not in a range that would have been very unhealthy like it was 2 summers ago where you could actually taste the air. I mean, it was brutal. But the AQI at 44 now is in a very good range. So, if you suffered from some kind of respiratory ailment, or if you have asthma, you were probably feeling it middle of last week, but we've seen a dramatic increase or decrease in that count there down to 44. So pretty nice looking day, 71 degrees right now. And the other part of the forecast that you really feel is the drop in the dew point. The dew point's down to 56. So, we were talking about this a few minutes ago. When that number gets into the 60s, you feel it. When that number gets in the 70s, it's like Miami, Florida. I mean, you're down in the Atlantic coast, well south of Rochester to get dew points like that typically. But nice, comfortable start. 72 in Brockport, 70 in Clifton Springs. It's 73 South Bristol. We've got 68 in Dansville this morning. All those temperatures a little bit above normal for this time of the year. I would say somewhere between 5 and 10 degrees above normal if I had to put a number on it. The average is 81, so that's actually starting to slide back. I hate to say that, but this is the time of the year when the trend starts going the other direction on temps. But you can see we're well above normal for the next couple of days. 92 for today, 93 for tomorrow, 87 for Wednesday. And for the summer lover, keep the AC cranked up. Most of the United States is going to have substantially above normal temperatures for the next 6 to 10 days. So this is a weather pattern that's kind of locked in. One of the parts of this that pushes the temperature up for us is how dry it's been. That always leads to a little bit of extra temperature trend there, and the extended forecast has 87 on Wednesday. That downpour potential is there, but I just don't want to overstress it. We'll keep it at 45% for now. It's our best chance probably in the next 7 days of seeing any kind of rain whatsoever. 83 for Thursday, 84 for Friday, a little sunshine. Then warmer into the weekend, may come close to 90 again by Sunday. I think if we had these 3 days on, I think it's 11 days in the 90s, and if Sunday hits 90, I think that's 12. I'll have to check the math on that, but 9 is the average for a season. So if we get up to 12, that's above normal.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Yeah.
Not to sound like a nag here or anything, but I'm going to nag for just a quick second. With all the hot weather, friendly reminder, don't leave the pets outside.
Yeah.
You got to bring them in. My dog Jay loves to sunbathe, but it's not good for her to be out there for too long. Let them enjoy the sunshine for a little bit, but make sure that they get plenty of water. Don't let them drink too fast, and be mindful of their little feet, too. Their little paws are sensitive.
We had Indy out on the deck and sat in the sun initially, and then immediately went for the shade and sprawled out in the shady part of the deck. Not was enjoying it for a minute and then was like, whoa.
She's like, it is too hot.
Too much.
Jeez, All right, Mark, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Stick around. A lot more to come this morning on ARC Rochester. We're going to check in with Chris Lopez once again when we come back. He is getting a boost of energy this Monday morning.
You don't want to miss it, so watch us on the go wherever you are by streaming us live on the 13 WHAM YouTube channel and foxrochester.com. We're back on the other side of the break.
think about it, coffee is much more than just a drink. It's a daily ritual that jumpstarts our mornings and also brings people together all across Rochester. And thankfully, there is no shortage of spots where you can get a perfect cup.
Yeah, this morning, Chris Lopez is live at Union Place Coffee Roasters, exploring what makes this cafe a favorite for locals. Hey there, Chris.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, earlier this morning, we were showing you guys the roasting process. Then I was with Berger, front of the house. He was showing how they made pour over as well as espresso. We talked to Lori about the beginnings of this, but one of the most important parts of a coffee shop is trying the coffee before you sell it to someone. And that's where the art, if you will, of cupping comes into play. Now, cupping, people may not be familiar with it. It's really just drinking coffee, but there's a way you do it. Right. There's a reason why you do it. Can you explain that to us?
So cupping, you know, we're making sure we're on target with our roast. We're if anything's going wrong with coffee, you can pick it up here. And also, when we bring new coffees in, it goes through many steps at the cupping table and many times at the cupping table before it goes on a retail shelf.
We're at the cupping. I'm very excited for this. This is something I always want to try. I've tried this once before. This will be my second time. What two blends do we have here, though?
Yeah, so this morning we have our Brazilian blend and our Kenyan blonde.
Okay.
So there's a big difference between these. So when you're here, you can definitely taste the difference.
If I were to ask you distinguishing differences between the two before I taste it, would you tell me, hey, Chris, just taste it, or am I going to taste something specific?
Well, you'll taste more acidity in the lighter Kenyan blonde roast.
Okay.
And then a lot of chocolate notes in the Brazilian.
Berger.
Just for us.
Yes, sir.
You drink a lot of coffee.
I drink a lot of
You're drinking
coffee.
way more now in this. What's your favorite aspect of coffee?
Honestly, the flavor of it. And then, you know, you look at how it's all produced, and it just amazes me how it goes from a cherry to a green bean to roasting and then in the cup. Like the journey of it is absolutely amazing.
All right. Let's try this out.
Right.
There's an art to cupping, too. You don't just dip the spoon in and grab it, right? You're just going to get a bunch of grounds. And then we have the water here to cleanse our palate. And I know that you...
Yep, so we're gonna do what's called break the crust.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to push all the grounds back, and then if you want to skim them off, some people skim them off, some people just push them back.
And that crust is the coffee grounds there, so you'll get a really bitter flavor if you have too much of that.
Yeah, we call it chewy coffee.
And then the way that you do it,
Yep.
it's not like you're drinking a cup of coffee. You make a certain noise, and there's a reason why you do that.
Yeah, you want to aerate the coffee in your mouth, which spreads all the coffee through your palate, and you'll get hopefully everything that you need to taste there.
Okay.
All right, so it's like a Slurpee.
That's the noise, so don't be alarmed if you're listening to
Yeah.
this. Let me try this. Oh yeah. I'm not a fan of the dark roast as much as I am the lighter roast, so I'm very excited to try the light roast here.
Right, so same.
Move this out of the way. Okay. And what I like about your place, and I want to talk about this, you do work overseas in terms of selling stuff, and I really kind of want to talk about that with these burlap bags here.
Yeah, so we support. There you go. Here, let me take that for you. So we sell off our used burlap bags, and we support a charity called the Four Walls Project, which is building homes in Nicaragua. And so for a couple $1,000, you can build a home in Nicaragua. We sell off the burlap bags, like $2 a piece. They make nice chair covers or frames or whatever.
Anyway, you want to get artistic with that.
Right, and so every little bit helps with that. And you know, we sell a Nicaraguan coffee with the $4 kickback. And so we're on our third house in Nicaragua, and it's, you know, and we have traveled there. We love the people there.
And Brendan, not standing here for no reason. I want to talk to you before we get back to studio. What did he have to do with you guys being here? Because you weren't here, you know, you weren't located here originally.
Right. So we were located not in Building 9. We were located in Building 15, a very small space. We just had the roastery, no cafe there. Okay. And so Brendan was instrumental in building this strip in the market and challenged me to move over here. So
During
the pandemic,
COVID,
we did it.
how was that experience like getting her to move from Building 15, which is kind of obscure, to this spot?
Lori's what makes the market special. We have 190 businesses here at the Genesee Valley Regional Market, and it's a pleasure to work with people like Lori every day and Joe here at the Regional Market. They make this place great.
Come check this place out. They have it down, dialed pat. You're going to see Burger up here prepping your coffee. Lori is responsible for this entire operation. Nick is responsible for the beans roasted. And you, good sir, are responsible for them moving here. Sending it, actually, no, we got some bills to pay coming up. Stay tuned on ARC Rochester. I got to finish this coffee.
Back to school season is right around the corner, and while many parents are eager to send their kids back off to the classrooms, some college students are getting ready for their first year on their own.
So with this in mind, now is the time to start prepping them for cooking on their own and maybe just staying away from only eating ramen. For today's Health in a Handbasket, we're joined by Alyssa Strassman with some nutrition tips for college students. I don't know about you, Steph. I ate a lot of ramen in college, like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like we all had our staples. I think it was cereal for me. Like that was my in my dorm. I could count on that as a snack or a breakfast or a meal if we didn't have time.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. But I have a couple tips, and I think when we think about going back to campus, this is a big change for us. Oftentimes when we were going to school, our lunches were planned for us. We had a lunch period. When we were living at home, perhaps our parents were deciding, what time we were eating family meals together and things like this. And this is the first time that we as adults are going off and we don't have those, set planned times for eating. And so one of my tips is get yourself on a schedule. So really think about having planned meals and snacks. So that means looking at your schedule and identifying when is it that I'm going to eat. Because I know that a lot of times, when we're on campus, those schedules can get really busy. And where we are on campus, we may not have a lot of time to go and sit down and grab something. So really be looking at our schedule to identify where can I eat, what is available to me, what are my dining options, where can I use my meal plan, or can I bring things with me? So just being able to be somewhat prepared, before getting that first day, class schedule and being in it. So really taking that time as we're getting to campus and, planning ahead.
Yeah.
I have a confession. I was the worst at eating. When I started my freshman year, I would forget. So that's really great advice. I'm being so honest. I would forget.
Yeah.
Even though I had a dining plan at the time. But that's really great advice to have a schedule. Another thing is also the options. In terms of, you want to choose the junk food. It's quick, it's on the go. How can students make that conscious decision to choose the healthier option?
Yeah, I think just going into your dining center and being aware of what is available to you. I think, when we first may get there, the novelty of all the different choices may be there, and that's okay. Like, it's new and it's exciting. But also, I think the dining options are getting so incredible with the amount of choices that are available for people that are dining. So really go in there and see what is available to me, and again, just making sure, that we're balancing our plate. Like, do I have, all the 5 food groups, represented at, most of my meals?
Yeah. So then when I think about college, think a lot about some of the late night snacking, right? I think most college students are guilty of that. What's the trick for not overdoing it?
Yeah, I think just being mindful, I think if we're eating regularly throughout the day, that can sometimes help us when we're, if we go long periods of time without eating, that's when we may have a tendency to find ourselves eating later on at night and eating in larger amounts just because we're hungry, and our body will tell us that. So really just eating at regular intervals throughout the day, being mindful, but also, just thinking about, just being intentional.
Yeah.
Great advice. And I think another thing right now, we're saying healthy could also equate to costing more. But there are some ways to navigate that. For example, what are some tips that you may recommend, like a farmer's market, for example?
Yeah, there are farmers markets available. I think too, taking advantage of the meal plan that you do have. So thinking about using your meal swipes. Like, I know that when I was on campus, there were places where you could go and you could get items that you could keep in your dorm room, whether it's fresh produce or, some of our dairy items and things like that. So thinking about how can I use my meal plan creatively so that if I already have these dollars set aside for food that I had to put into a meal plan, using them wisely. And then again, thinking about some of those pantry items that are relatively cheap. We have our oatmeal, our cereal, our grains, that are all relatively cheap. Thinking about canned products as well, those canned beans and tuna and chicken and things like that we could keep on hand for us. Even having eggs, those are all things that we can cook in the microwave if that's something that's available to us and that could fit in our dorm room, refrigerator.
Yeah.
Go ahead, were you gonna say something?
No, sorry, I was active listening.
Yeah. The other thing that I just have is make it social. I think, we do talk about, being on campus and we're all kind of starting a little bit new. And so by enjoying meals together, these are things that it holds us accountable to be eating at regular meal times, but also it's an opportunity for us to connect, make new friendships, new relationships, and also just supports our well-being and it allows us to look out for one another.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Alyssa, thanks so much for coming in today. All great things to take into consideration. Where can people go if they want to learn more?
Yeah, you can go to my website, alyssastrassman.com, or you can follow me on Facebook at Alyssa Strassman, RDN, CDN.
Very good.
Thank you so much. And stick around, we've got much more to come here on ARC Rochester.
We're back after this. to come this morning on Arc Rochester as we continue into the 9 o'clock hour, including we are looking ahead to the upcoming community ride. It's raising awareness, breaking records, and bringing hope to families.
Then we'll take a closer look as towns across Steuben County are still working to recover more than a year since devastating floods.
And later, from Rochester roots to a national crown, we're sitting down with Diana Meyer, the newly crowned United States of America's Mrs.
Then the Uber ride that lasted how long? We will take a look at the extreme lengths that one musician took in order to perform at his own concert. That and more coming up in this morning's Trending Now.
That is all coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. We're back after this. Monday. It's 9 o'clock and it's August 11th. Thanks for joining us on Arc Rochester. I'm Abi Fridmann.
And I'm Stephannie Joseph, meteorologist Mark McLean.
Would they have to know?
Okay, so if you have a hairless cat out there, please write into the newsroom. That's news@13wham.com. The cats get acne.
Allegedly.
I swear that they do.
With videos on.
No.
Oh my goodness.
And you
I
have to
have
take
never-
care of the acne because it'll get infected.
Wow.
I'm not crazy.
This isn't it.
Oh boy.
I'll have to send it.
Mark was
Producer
being
Ashley
mean about
verifies.
cats.
It was a look on intern Abby's face that stirred it up for me.
You have your phone out. Google it right now.
I have to see.
Oh my gosh,
Goodness.
ridiculous.
iPad.
Speaking of hairless cats, Mark, let's pause the podcast. That was a cheap shot.
Delivery was great.
Yep. Oh boy. That's funny.
It's fine.
That was awesome. We were talking, weather trivia, right?
Yeah.
We got to do the answer for that, and then I have to put out a warning before our muddy pause.
Okay.
110% cuteness overload today. Just so you know, it's coming. It's coming. But on a weather map, this type of front has half circles and triangles and is shown by the color purple. What type of front is on the right-hand side of the screen? Is it occluded, cold, warm, or stationary? Steph, what's the answer you can throw away?
Oh gosh, I was gonna throw away cold.
Okay.
100%.
When you think of cold, what color do you think of?
Blue.
Blue. Okay. When you think
Yep.
of warm,
Red.
red. So
Yeah.
there's two gone right there. Okay, so that brings you. Everybody went with A. Is there a reason for that?
Because stationary just doesn't.
Wouldn't that not make it a front?
Exactly.
It's like it's like the Civil War days when the troops lined up on either side, right? Nothing's moving.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's just you're stationary, you're stalled. Same thing with the air masses in that scenario. One side of it's cold, one side of it's warm, and nobody wants to quote move or win there. But what do you say?
Yeah, I'll go with A.
All right, we are going to start the week off right.
Nice.
It is an occluded front, and so this type of front actually develops as faster moving cold air overtakes warm air in the atmosphere. So cold air moves about 2.5 times faster than warm air. Warm air is not in a hurry to do anything. Cold air is already on the ground, it's already moving, has momentum, and overtakes warm air, which is one of the reasons why Rochester is such a cold place. We're halfway between the equator and North Pole, roughly, and cold air moves faster than warm air. So that's one of the reasons anyway. All right, back to cuteness overload. Check this out. This is our
Oh
Muddy
my
Paw
gosh.
outlook.
Are you kidding me?
Today's cat of the day is Larry.
Larry.
I know.
I love kittens. Look at that little guy.
Why you gotta do it, Larry? Why you gotta do it to us?
Yeah.
So cute.
Why, there's a string? What do you
Larry's owner needs to bring
Probably
him
some
in.
yarn.
think? Yarn?
Yeah.
Something is dangling on top of that cat, right? For sure. Hey, if you want to send us your photos, we love to see your pics of your doggies and kitties like that. It's 13wham.com/chime in, and we'll get you on the air this week with some of those photos. We'd love to see them. We see the sunset pictures, the weather pictures, that Dust Devil video that we had was in there. Unbelievable stuff. But hot paws the next couple of days, right? We're in the 90s. Wednesday morning, I think there's a decent shot at a downpour there, so maybe a few muddy paws out there for Wednesday morning, but Thursday and Friday should dry out pretty nicely for us. Does that image not sell this graphic? Look at that blazing sun. 92 today. That's going to be the 10th day this year. I just did the math. 10 days if we get to the 90s. We think we will. And tomorrow we'll likely make it 11. So last year we had 8 days. The most was 1952. We had 32 days
Whoa.
of 90-degree warmth.
Can you think about how bad everyone smelled? Probably.
And
Just a thought.
There's no air conditioning.
No
right?
air
I
conditioning.
mean, you were very privileged, right, if you had air conditioning at that point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we were beyond ice in the fridge at that point, right? I mean, everybody pretty much had, probably by the early 50s,
Probably wasn't
right?
automatic.
Yeah.
Closer to that time than we are.
Yeah, oh, that's true. 75 degrees, southwest at
shot.
10.
One more strike.
The dew point's 56. Hey, when you put the warmth and the atmospheric moisture content together, sometimes we put this up to show you, we get to an advisory level for the warmth. We're not quite there today, but we think it's going to feel like the air temperature actually is. It's going to feel like it's in the low 90s, but if you're outside for any length of time, just keep in mind that UV index is way up there today. It's an 8, and that's about as high as it gets. We'll get a 9 occasionally in Rochester, but 8 is a lofty number for that index. Forecast map ahead, we'll keep the sunshine today, the mainly clear sky tonight, and that front back to our west is going to give us that chance for a downpour, and this is going to be into Wednesday morning. So if you don't catch it by, say, 9, 10 o'clock, I think we're in pretty good shape there. But get out the clubs and take the water with you. You're going to need 90 degrees by 1 o'clock, low 90s. At 5 o'clock this afternoon, find the AC. Nice night to take a peek at what's left of the full sturgeon moon out there. Mainly clear sky. It was full back on Friday night into Saturday morning. Another warm night on the way. South breeze 3 to 8, and the 7-day forecast for us has temperatures dropping back through the 80s Thursday, Friday. We'll see numbers in the upper 80s to near 90 for Saturday and Sunday. And if we get to 90 on Sunday, it would be 12. 12 days. Yeah. Quite a summer.
Yeah, and we've been really fortunate.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah. Just that AC bill that's coming next month.
That's
Don't
going to be
fortunate
something
for that.
else. Brace yourself for
But
that.
fan, whatever you've been doing to stay cool,
Yeah.
use and deploy that routine again today.
Maybe some ice in the freezer.
There you go.
Yeah. I've been hearing that the sunsets are actually getting a bit earlier.
Yeah.
So when is our last sunset after 8.
Yeah, after 8 is it's at the end of this month. Yeah, and they've been in the 8 o'clock hour since April. So, but when you're working this side,
Right.
that's actually
It's been
not a
hard
bad
to
thing.
sleep lately.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. When the sun is up, I just want to do stuff.
Yeah.
So going to bed has just been
Get you going.
impossible.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Mark. Thank
Yep.
you. Time right now is 9:07. We still have a lot to get to this morning, including when we come back, we're looking ahead to an upcoming ride. It's raising awareness and money for a very important mission.
Don't forget that you can watch us on the go wherever you are by streaming us live on the 13 Wham YouTube channel and foxrochester.com. We're back after this. This Saturday, riders and drivers will come together for the 9th annual Lee Lucas Memorial Poker Run, honoring a son lost to a heroin overdose in 2016 and raising funds to fight the opioid crisis.
So the event includes stops at local favorites, great food, live music, exciting raffles, all to benefit Father Tracy's Advocacy Center. For more, we're joined now by Lee's father and the event founder, Dean Lucas. Dean, always good to have you in here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for getting me in here. That's nice.
This is the 9th annual to honor your son. Tell us a little bit about how this has evolved over the years.
Okay, so the year he passed away, which was December. So the very next summer, my friends actually put this together. They came up with an idea. One of the stops, we go to the Rochester Dinosaur a lot on a motorcycle. So basically somebody just, they came up with this idea and they ran with it. And we had help for the first few years, and then my wife and I took it over, and it's really grown. We've gotten a lot of supporters. We started out, we probably had, I want to say maybe we had 40 motorcycles. Last year we had 137 motorcycles. So, yeah, and a lot of it is based on that kind of support. We also have loads of support as far as sponsors, and that's a big part of it too. But everything wraps together. You need all parts, and we're looking at good weather this weekend, so that's That'll bring in a lot of riders. Maybe we break that number even. So each year, the number of bikes and vehicles have grown. So we welcome any vehicle. And so we have a lot of vehicles that follow us. You could be in a junker, or you could be in some sort of muscle car. And it works out pretty well.
Everyone's welcome, right?
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
That's amazing. What is it like for you to see a lot of people showing their support while also raising awareness here?
To see the support, I get very emotional. It's like so many people, there are people that know me, but they never even met my son Lee, but they come to support, and they come out of love, really. And we have a lot. I ran into several people this past Friday that say, this is a personal note on me. We have family that either have lost or are still using, and the opioid epidemic is just, unfortunately, it's blown out of proportion, globally even. So, and I know the numbers are down for deaths from overdose this year, but I think locally we're still struggling with that, and so that's what we're looking at local.
I think we all know somebody who has been impacted by the opioid crisis, which it's heartbreaking when you think about it. Something that, a lot of the time people don't even know that they need help until it's too late.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that Todd Baxter and I talked to nurses of Strong, and it took 2 days to go through all of the ER nurses, but Todd talked after I did, and I gave my story and how I lost and what it did, but Todd said, I want the nurses to guess the average age, and I think it was 2016, although it may have been a different year, for overdose deaths. And, I'm guessing 30. It was 50 because of pain medicine. And after Todd got done talking, I went to him and I said, did you say 50? And that is where it was. And it's all this, the opioid epidemic, in my mind, it starts with Big Farm, and that's unfortunately, that's changed now, but it doesn't change what I have, and so this ride does raise awareness. It raises money to fight that epidemic and help somebody else not to have my pain. To lose a child it's just ungodly.
And I wonder if you can tell us a little bit about the Father Tracy Advocacy Center. It's well known in the community in terms of helping with anybody who may be battling addiction, for example. Tell us a little.
That's an awesome question. Yeah, I actually sat on the board. Rudy Rivera, the original CEO, he asked me, if I would consider that. And at first I was like, I have so much on my plate, I can't do it. But then I heard what they do and what they were doing that week. And I stood up and I said, if you still want me, you got me. I'm here for that. So I'm on the board, I'm on the financial committee as well. You can, you need a sandwich. You're homeless, you need a sandwich, you can get a sandwich. You can get, a coffee. You can end up, they have shower facilities that actually, they trailer there, they can get you a shower. You can get a bed. You finally reach that place where you want to be clean. They can find you a bed, which is very difficult to do. And that window is very narrow. When you say you're ready to become clean, you have to strike now. And Father Tracy's definitely helps with that. They're in the trenches, and that's what I like about them. So.
Dean, somebody watching at home is probably struggling right now.
Yeah.
And maybe they're struggling alone, or maybe they have a huge community behind them supporting them. What is your message to that person and to their family?
I would say that it is possible. It is possible to become clean and step out of where you are right now. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, what, I think I'm gonna overdose today. I think I want to become addicted to heroin. Nobody does that. These things come to you, they blindside you. And so as for the person that's struggling and wants to be over this situation, you can do it. You need help, though. You can't do this on your own. You need help. You need a facility. You can reach out to so many places, but of course I say Father Tracy's Advocacy Center. As far as the family, don't give up, and I say this all the time. If I could choose to have a living son addicted to an opioid, rather than have lost someone who is now free of that, I would definitely hug to have a living addict son. Don't give up on your, whether it's your sibling, whether it's your spouse, don't give up. They're still here, and you still can find hope, that you can still find a way out of this, and it is possible. They just need to act, and they need to, when, like I said, when the iron's hot, you need to strike. And so when they're ready, they're ready.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Extremely powerful. Thank you so much.
And for anyone who wants information, whether it's community members, drivers, where can they go?
Yeah, LeeLucasRide.com. That's the easiest way. On Facebook, it's Lee Lucas Run on Facebook, but the website is the best. And if you think you might want to do this ride, go to About on that website, watch the videos. There's an invite video, and then there's a documentary. The documentary is very powerful and just shows so much of the ride. So again, thank you to so many people, so many places for supporting me, so many sponsors, so many just people that hold me up. And a huge thank you to my wife, because without her, this would be absolutely impossible. Thank you to Brenda Lucas.
Well, we all need a village, right?
Yeah, we do. Yep. I'm fortunate to have a great village. So I'm a very lucky, unlucky man. I'm very unlucky to have lost my firstborn, but I'm very, very lucky to have people around me to help support me and actually pull me through the hard times.
Well, we're very lucky to have you in the community raising money for such a wonderful cause, such an important cause, one that is certainly needed for those in our area. Thank you again. We appreciate it. All the information for the event will go over on foxrochester.com.
Hey, stick around. We've got much more to come right here on ARC Rochester, including when we come back, we will be breaking down some of your top political headlines.
Yeah, the Political Pulse is coming up next. Welcome back. It is 9:20 and it's time for a political pulse check on ARC Rochester. This morning, we're looking ahead to President Trump's press conference set for today at the White House. It's focusing on violent crime in the nation's capital.
Yeah, over the weekend, the president warned unhoused people in D.C. to leave, saying he has a plan for the city's, quote, beautification.
Here's CNN's Amy Kelley with more.
If the priority is to show force in an American city, we know he can do that here, but it won't be because there's a spike in crime.
President Donald Trump says he's unveiling a plan for Washington, D.C. today. It follows his threats to assert more federal control over the nation's capital.
We've got to get the mayor to run this city properly. This city has to be run. You know, I have the right to take it over.
Trump says he wants to remove homeless people from the city and find them other places to stay. Homelessness is up across the country, with 770,000 people experiencing it last year. That's an 18% increase from 2023. But advocates say removing homeless people makes the problem worse by marginalizing them more. Meanwhile,
I think it's a disgrace that tourists and visitors come to Washington, D.C. and they don't feel safe.
Trump says he wants to reduce crime in Washington. A source says he's sending FBI agents on patrol with local officers. He can take over the district police force in certain emergencies, though it's unclear if he'll try that. He also controls its National Guard. Records show crime in D.C. is down sharply year over year, but a former DOJ staffer was assaulted there recently.
It seems to be that Democratic cities get sort of called out. People that are friends of the president get special treatment. All of a sudden, federal forces are called on to police the entire city.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Now, for more on the potential impact, we're joined by Laura Helt, the executive director of the Veterans Outreach Center. Laura, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So, unfortunately, there are so many men and women who have served our country who find themselves in a situation where they don't have a roof over their head and they don't have anywhere to go. As you kind of are right at the forefront of the Veterans Outreach Center, I want to know your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so, I think it's a complicated issue, first of all. I think that every human being has a basic right to have shelter and to be able to have a safe place to live. I think we have to also remember that homelessness is not simply a problem of houselessness. It is complex. There are typically, in most situations, people are dealing with mental health, substance use disorder, legal issues, family challenges, economic challenges. And so it is a complicated problem. I think, though, if the federal government wants to look at ways to find shelter for homeless folks, they have to be prepared to pay for that. And unfortunately, at the end of June, the federal government cut the Veterans Outreach Center $500,000 for a program that we've been running for 25 years to support homeless veterans getting employed again. And they did not reallocate that money to any other entity in upstate New York. So, I think that's going to be a challenge.
And are you able to elaborate on the impact that would have?
Sure. So every year, Veterans Outreach Center has helped homeless veterans find meaningful employment and get back into safe housing. And this particular program that the federal government cut from the Veterans Outreach Center, we were helping an average of maybe 200 vets a year find employment and then also find safe housing. So it is going to have a very big impact if we're unable to secure other funding to fill that gap. We're working really hard to make sure we can do that. We are not eliminating any of our housing or our workforce development programs. But again, just this concept that we're going to move homeless people, move them where? They have to have somewhere to go, and programs like ours that really do a lot of great work to help people overcome all of those complexities of homelessness, you have to have some funding for.
I imagine that you must have been pretty surprised when you found out that funding was being cut for the veterans. Tell us your response back in June.
Yeah, honestly, we were very surprised. Like I said, we've had this program now for 25 years, and we've met all of our metrics. We have done all of the work that is expected under the grant parameters. And so, that in addition to losing the funding, there was no time. The new grant year began on a Monday, and we were notified on a Friday, just before that Monday, that we were no longer going to be receiving that funding. So we've been trying to investigate the rationale and the reasons as to that funding loss. But I think, again, it just really speaks volumes that there are no grantee recipients in the upstate New York area anymore. Those were the two that had that funding last year, us and another entity, both did not receive it back this year. So I think that, as we look to the future of how can we continue to support our homeless veterans and as a nation, individuals who are facing homelessness, we really have to look at the programs that work. And this program was working. We had year after year after year, a very high percentage of folks that we served getting jobs, getting housing, and not just, moving back in with a family member. Finding their own permanent affordable housing that they could then sustain. And so I think, if the government is looking to get homeless people off the streets, I don't disagree with that. I think it's unimaginable to me that we could have people living on the streets in a nation like the United States, and that there is not a better option. But I think that just to sort of, make this very quick decision that, well, they've got to move and they've got to go somewhere else. I mean, there has to be a plan for that.
And you kind of alluded to this a little bit before earlier in the conversation, just about how there are multiple factors that can lead to homelessness. Can you tell us a little bit about how the Veterans Outreach Center approaches all of the different factors or issues that could lead to this?
Absolutely. So when a veteran comes into the Veterans Outreach Center, whether it's directly to our shelter first, or if it's, just coming in looking for other services, the first thing that we do is ask them what help they're looking for, and they get to identify the services that they need. They sit down with a care manager and they talk through whatever challenges they may be having. And a lot of times somebody may come in and just say, well, I lost my job, I need help finding another job. But as you kind of peel back those layers, you find out, well, maybe the reason they lost the job is because they're dealing with some untreated post-traumatic stress disorder. Or maybe they lost the job because actually, they were not earning enough money in the first place. And when their car broke down, they, didn't have the resources to fix the car, so they stopped going. So we really try to kind of peel all of that back and figure out how can we provide workforce development training to improve their economic situation? How can we tap into resources for, perhaps veterans benefits that they're not receiving, like service-connected disability compensation, and then work through legal challenges with them by getting them connected with attorneys that do pro bono work for VOC, or by helping them with family reunification, by connecting them with AA programs or whatever other issues are going on. So we really address the entire life that the veteran has, and looking at how can we help support every aspect as much as possible, or find resources in the community that will help with that as well.
Well, Laura, we appreciate your time today. We appreciate the insight, and thanks so much for joining us. If you at home are in need of assistance, plenty of information on the Veterans Outreach Center over on our website, 13wham.com. Laura, thanks again.
Hey, stick around. We've got much more to come here on ARC Rochester.
We're back after this.
Monday morning. Thanks so much for staying with us here on Arc Rochester. We want to take a look back now at the devastating floods in the southern tier that happened a year ago.
Yeah, hard to believe it has been a year. Stephen County officials say they're still working to get proper resources needed to clean up after everything that was left behind.
Now, this weekend marked 1 year since the town of Canisteo was placed under a state of emergency. Several homes were destroyed by the powerful floodwaters. You're seeing that here. The estimated cost of the damage from Tropical Storm Debbie is around $50 million.
All right, so we have the weathermen joining us now, meteorologist Marty Snyder and Mark McLean. Hard to believe it's been a year. And taking a look back at some of that video, I mean, it really is jaw-dropping when you see it and just how much devastation actually happened.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that you think about down there is probably the geography, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you get into this area where, everything goes down into the river and, it's just too much, too fast. Yeah. So.
And, they have tried to do things over the years, with the flooding. There's been Agnes that we all remember from well back into the early 70s. But Arkport Dam, there's Almond Lake that's there. They've been created to try to help with some of these issues. But there's just a limited amount that these man-made creations can do to actually hold back some of that water upstream from reaching down even as far as Canisteo and places downstream from those areas. But they do what they can. But still, you're going to get these things that unfortunately do happen like this.
Yeah, and a lot of this comes down to the meteorology too. Obviously, that's why we're part of the conversation. But if we can take a look at that, the track of this storm actually started down in Cuba, and the storm actually made landfall in the Panhandle of Florida, or near the Panhandle, as a Category 1 hurricane. It continued to move on through Georgia, parts of South Carolina, North Carolina, and came right into the southern tier. So if you look at all of the United States, the storm actually did cause $12 billion of damage. There was 18 fatalities. I don't believe that we had any fatalities in the southern tier from this storm, but there was 18 fatalities from the storm. And it only had maximum winds of 80 miles per hour. So, when you look at it, it wasn't necessarily the wind. It was this setup right here, Marty.
Right, exactly. And that's that problem where you have that rain that gets funneled into these valleys. As you head south of Rochester, you get into more of those valleys and that rolling terrain that just focuses it down into a lot of those areas, like even the Chemung River. In some of those areas, they have the earthworks that have been built along the sides of those rivers, in addition to the dams that I was speaking of earlier. Yeah. And still, it's one of those cases where if you just have too much rain in too short a period of time for that water to percolate into the soil, then you still get these issues like that. I
mean, we even saw, and on a much lesser scale, some of the thunderstorms that rolled through last Wednesday. It was an all or nothing deal. Right. But even an inch of rain on soil that's completely dried out, I mean, that can cause some real problems. It all just turns into runoff. And then, of course, even a small amount of moving water is enough to cause some real problem. You get swept away in just 6 inches of water that's moving 20 miles per hour. It's not difficult. It has a lot of force behind it. And you saw the damage down there. It's not difficult for water to even wash out a roadway or wash out the bridge abutment and take out a bridge too.
Yeah, and that's it. That water can get around the corners of the bridges on the abutment there and just cause that little bit of scouring, and it takes out the bottom of that, and then the whole thing just gives way after that. It's just that small little bit of scouring that begins, and it just causes that the things to just give way.
Yeah, and our Daniel Finkelstein was down there. He covered this story in great depth a year ago, and he's still on it today.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing. It just takes so long to recover from these situations like that folks are still struggling to do that.
Yeah.
I can only imagine just seeing a lot of the vegetation, the grassy areas, all of that water just piling up right there, and what it can do to the soil that's in that area.
Yeah.
Destroyed a lot of crops, I'm sure.
It did, and you also have to look at it from the standpoint, I know this is kind of gross, but sewers, that kind of, there's storm sewers and there's sewers, and I know a lot down there, it's not great.
And you think about that, the sewage treatment plants are always in those lower areas that are more prone to flooding in the first place, so it just causes an even worse issue.
Yep.
And when it comes to the dry soil that we've had, and you take a look at last year at this time, were we having similar conditions out there in terms of no rain at all? Or was it kind of like building? Like we had a lot of rain and it got worse and worse.
It wasn't quite as dry as this year. I mean, we've had less than 2 inches of rain, some spots even less than that in the last 6 weeks. So it wasn't quite as dry, but It's a tropical storm. I mean, it's not characteristic for this area, and it's not unusual for these storms to have 3, 4, 5 inches of rain, which would be a month and a half worth of rain come through, in short order. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And would it seem like, especially with an area like that, maybe there are a lot of farms over there, in terms of, I guess, the drying out period, is it too dry now per se, and there is some room for some rain to come in and maybe help things out?
Yeah, we could definitely use a drink, I guess, is one way of looking at it. The soil has actually gotten to the point outside. I was just watering, or looking at the garden out there, and there's cracks in the soil.
Yeah, and that happens. It just gets to be that hard pan type soil. Yeah. In different areas, there's a little bit more moisture. It has been out there, so it does vary across the region. But here in Henrietta, it is really dry. Yeah.
It is so hard to predict this kind of thing, but we appreciate you guys. And a friendly reminder, you can always download the 13 WHAM Weather Authority app. It's like a weather warehouse in your pocket.
Yeah, stick around. We've still got much more to come here on ARC Rochester, including when we come back, we are learning more about a Rochester native who was recently crowned with a pretty big title.
Yeah, and don't forget, you can watch us on the go wherever you are. We're streaming live on the 13 WHAM YouTube channel and on foxrochester.com. We're back after this. Welcome back. A Rochester native has made it to the national stage. Diana Meyer is making history as the newly crowned United States of America's Mrs.
Yeah, she represented New Jersey at the national pageant in Las Vegas and became the first from the Garden State to win the title. For more on her inspiring journey, passion, and what this achievement means to her, she joins us now in studio. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
You look stunning. It's the first thing as soon as I noticed. The crown is beautiful and also just a great presentation. Tell us what this moment feels like for you.
It feels surreal, but I worked so hard for this moment. When I won United States of America's Mrs. New Jersey at the end of September, I hit the ground running. Before I headed to that national pageant in Las Vegas, Nevada, I completed over 85 appearances. I recruited contestants, brought on sponsors to the organization. So when that crown was placed on my head, I was ready, I was prepared, and I had a plan to move forward into my year as a national title holder, and I've done just that.
So walk us through the competition. You did so much prep beforehand, but then you arrive, you're getting ready to compete. Is there a dance portion? Is there a talent portion? Like, what did it look like?
Yeah, it's just as you probably would think it is, with the evening gown on stage, a bathing suit competition for misses. There are 4 different divisions, and we do have a teen division, so our teens, they wear an active wear, a fitness outfit. You have an onstage question, a patriotic wear, and a private interview with a panel of judges round robin style. And I'm married, of course, and my husband was there, my in-laws were there, my mom was there, so many family and friends, and I've never seen my family smile so big when I hit that stage. And that was the moment that I knew I did my hometown Rochester proud, but also the state of New Jersey that I was so proud to represent on that national stage.
And was there ever a moment for you during the competition that you were like, I think I have this?
Well, I'll tell you this. I prepared for the competition like I've never worked harder for something in my life. I felt like I was preparing like an elite athlete, really. This is the Super Bowl, as my husband would say. You won it, Diana. And when I hit that stage, I felt like, yeah, I've done the work, but I was going to be at peace with whatever the outcome was going to be. I knew that if that crown was placed on my head, I was going to be ready for that moment in the year ahead and what I was going to accomplish. Volunteering with teens throughout the nation, helping them build confidence, volunteering with the USO across the nation, working in soup kitchens, working with the Miracle Field, just to name a few. These are things that I knew and connections that I knew I had and ready to deploy for that year of service. So when that crown was planted on my head, I knew I was ready. But in that moment, I was like, wow, I really did it. The hard work paid off.
Walk us through your history with the pageant scene. When did you start, and what was the journey like?
I love this question because it really helps me relate to the common person who might not be participating in pageants previously or currently. And I never thought about competing in a pageant. I was a competitive gymnast growing up. I was a tomboy, and about 11 years ago, I received a letter in the mail to compete. And of course, Mom, of course, was the one to encourage me to try out. And I was just glued to participating because when I saw a title holder for the first time, she was articulate, she was confident, she could speak to adults, and she was someone that I knew I could be and wanted to be. And now I've accomplished those skills as not only a former state title holder, but a national title holder, and that is the biggest blessing. Now that I have this incredible honor to represent, I get to show other women and people across the nation that it doesn't matter how tall you are, it doesn't matter what your family background is. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter your upbringing. What makes you different is truly your superpower, and what makes you unique, that is what makes you beautiful. And there is a place for you here at United States of America Pageants, because the USOA motto is empower women, inspire others, uplift everyone, and I am that beacon of hope for people across the nation. And how amazing is that?
It is amazing.
That is for sure. And if there's a little girl that's out there that maybe is a little nervous about entering the pageant scene, but is inspired by you, what would you say to her?
I would tell her just that. And this was part of my onstage question. What makes you different, what makes you unique is truly your superpower, and what makes you beautiful. Because often our self-doubt holds us back from entering situations that we might dream of entering, but feel like we can't for whatever reason. Oh, I'm not skinny enough. I'm not tall enough. Oh, I'm not pretty enough. Or I'm not smart enough. I'm not athletic enough. Well, I'm here to tell you that you are enough. Trust your unique abilities, trust what you bring to the table, because when you do walk into that room where you are destined to be, you will inspire others that also feel that same doubt to step outside their box and take a chance on themselves. And I did just that, and you never know what can happen.
Thank you so much for your time today, and another congratulations
Thank
to
you so much.
So inspiring. We will post all of the information, if you're interested, over on foxrochester.com.
Hey, stick around. When Arc Rochester returns, we're taking a closer look at some of the stories that have people talking this morning.
We're back after this.
7:47. It's time to see what's trending now, starting with a musician who strongly believes in the phrase, the show must go on.
Yeah, so the hip-hop artist, Jeezy, shared that he was forced to take a 10-hour Uber ride in order to make it to his concert to avoid disappointing his fans.
Wow. He explained on Instagram that he had just wrapped up his concert in Georgia and was getting ready to head on a flight to Maryland for his next show in just a few days.
So on the day of the flight and the concert, he said he woke up to find all flights to Baltimore and D.C. had been canceled.
Yeah, his team even tried to book him a private jet, but there was nothing to accommodate him.
Thankfully, though, he was able to hop on a tour bus last minute and started heading to Baltimore.
Yeah. Things took a turn. About 2 hours into the drive, though, the artist explained that the bus hit an object on the highway because, of course, puncturing the gas tank and causing fuel to leak everywhere.
Okay, so no flights, no private jet, no bus. The artist had no choice but to call an Uber.
So the artist asked the Uber driver to charge him whatever in order to get him to the show that was 10 hours away.
Okay, so after a little bit of thought, the Uber driver pulled up in his red Ford Explorer and said, sure, why not? Hop on in.
I can't believe it. The two drove the whole way, stopping only once for food and gas, and pulled up to the venue exactly 10 minutes before the 8 p.m. showtime.
The artist shared that story with fans during the concert and even brought the driver on stage as his special guest.
Well, that was nice. The total for the ride was not revealed, but I'm sure it was up there.
Yeah, I imagine. Would you accept it if you were the Uber driver?
Okay. No, but not because when it comes to driving, I'm a passenger princess. Whenever I will just sit in the passenger seat if anyone but my mom is driving. She drives the speed limit on the slower side.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
even if you were driving for a living, like you're no option here for the passenger princess. You are the Uber driver. You're getting probably a pretty big paycheck at the end of this.
I know.
Still no?
It's the 10 hours.
Yeah.
My knee.
Oh my gosh.
I just
got
like
an old lady over here. Yeah. Listen, if the price was right and I had nothing else going on, why not?
How much is that price? How much?
I don't know. Well, I don't know how much a typical Uber ride would cost in that area.
If it's during peak travel hours, I don't know. Could be.
Listen, it would need to be. It would need to be in the thousands. And again, I would need to not have anything going on, which would be pretty rare.
I'd put a brace on. Get it together. Compression socks.
Why couldn't they get him a different bus too?
I don't know. You would think it's on the East Coast and they're well-known areas, I assume, like New Jersey, going to Baltimore. There should be some sort of service.
What about like a car rental?
Yeah.
Enterprise?
Yeah.
Perhaps? I don't know.
I think it's because they were in the middle of nowhere. Like they were like on the side of the road, like what is my option?
Gotcha. Okay. Hey, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Wow. And Jeezy's pretty well known in terms of like, he's a rapper.
Okay,
so
I've
coming
never heard
on
of
10 minutes before, if you know like Akon and Young Jeezy, like that's how, if you know.
I don't.
You guys know the song. Come on. Don't leave me.
Listen, unless it's like from the 90s, I'm pretty clueless.
I think it's a sound that's going viral on TikTok. So like if you guys know me starting that, they're with me, right?
I don't know. Young people in the room? No?
Try to take
Abby
it
says no.
easy.
Former intern, now employed 13 Wham member Rory says no. All right, it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we got to move on to an animal story. If you think that your pooch has what it takes to be a star on the silver screen, this story is for you.
Yeah, studios Airbud Entertainment and Cineverse have announced a nationwide talent search to discover the next golden retriever to take the name of Airbud.
The winning pup will carry the 25-year legacy forward and play the top dog in Airbud Returns, coming to theaters in summer 2026.
This will be the 15th, yes, 15th film in the series. The original movie came out in 1997.
According to the studios, the winning dog should embody the charm, athleticism, and heart that made Airbud a beloved character, because he was pretty good on the basketball court.
Mm-hmm. Anyone who's interested in submitting their retriever can visit www.airbud.com Everyone who submits their dog will be eligible to win a variety of prizes leading up to the release of the movie.
So I'm disappointed that only Goldens are allowed in this contest because Jay, my dog Jay, is quite the athlete.
Yeah.
She could run circles around any of those dogs. And, you know, I mean, she's yellow. Give her a chance.
Yeah.
We could get her some extensions and you'd, you know, maybe be a little convinced that she's a golden.
This calls for expanding the search, you know?
Well, yeah. I mean, I get it because it's Air Bud. You know, everybody knows Air Bud. They have 15 films, for crying out loud. But an icon, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe there's room for a rival team. And then you can include
It's been a while.
other.
I haven't seen any of the Air Bud movies probably since I was like 7.
I'm thinking of Homeward Bound, which is not Air Bud, but that was my jam.
Is that the one with the cat and the dog?
Yes.
Love that movie.
Sassy.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, when we come back, time for the final thoughts this morning.
Already.
Can you believe it? It's 9:54.
Our Rochester is back after this.
Welcome back. Time for the final thoughts on our Rochester. It's been a Monday, my friends. Yikes.
Mondays are gonna Monday.
Yep,
It
that's
happens.
okay.
Yep.
We made it through.
Yep.
Plenty of coffee. Chris Lopez, we know, was out checking out all of the coffee at Union Street.
Union Coffee Roasters.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Good
going to get
stuff.
the name wrong, so apologies. I only said it 800 million times today. But again, that's a Monday for you.
You need more coffee.
No, I'm going to bed as soon as I get home. Crashing.
Yeah.
Yup.
That's me
Earplugs
too.
in. You know, just, yeah. But all in all, good morning and decent weather,
Yeah.
which is great news.
Yeah. Nice warm afternoon, lower
Yeah.
90s for highs, and not excessively humid. So
Nine times now, right? 9.
yeah, are we 9 or 10? Yeah,
Yeah.
At least 9.
Today, today will be 10.
Would be
Right.
10.
Whoa.
Yeah. Wow.
So water, sunscreen, a fan, a pool.
Yeah.
I saw these portable fans the other day at TJ Maxx.
Like battery operated?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's a good idea.
It's a good idea. I like
Who
that.
knew?
We got a
all
cold
the
front in
rage.
here. You won't need it in here.
Yeah, it's
It's
ice cold. Stupid.
I like it.
Shivering.
Yeah. All right, that does it for us this morning on Arc Rochester. Join us again tomorrow morning starting at 4:57 on 13 Wham ABC.
We've also got much more live local news coming up later with me and Mark for 13 Wham News at midday. See you then. Have a great day.